So imagine getting your bachelor's degree and then telling your parents that your full-time profession is a blogger. What do you think their response would be?
Is that my iPad? Dad, put that down! Dad!
Now in my defense, I didn't start off as a blogger. I actually started off as a financial advisor right out of college, and that's what I did for a majority of my career. And then one day I read this article that talked about if you really want to stand out as a financial advisor, you need to start a blog. But the only thing at that time was I didn't even know what a blog was. See, I thought having a blog was the same thing like having a MySpace account. You remember MySpace, right? Or it was broadcasting to the world how awesome your latest meal was.
Once it hits your lips, it's so good!
And yet, despite the ignorance that I have about what blogging is and how it worked, I was still determined to start and get the best financial planner blog going. And after I started my blog, goodfinancialsense.com, something funny happened. I started to network with other personal finance bloggers, and these were individuals, these were men and women that were doing it on the side while they were still working their full-time gigs. And I learned you could actually make money from your blog. And you have to remember, like, I'm still trying to figure out how the internet works at this point. So I am pretty skeptical that you could actually make money from a blog, make money online. Like, they all feel like some sort of scam.
We'll have the option of choosing from several of our completely unwarranted ripoffs, including internet speeds up to 200 times slower than Korea at twice the price, TV packages with over 500 channels, 90% of which you can view, and we guarantee a plethora of hidden fees.
And then something even crazier happened. One of those personal finance bloggers that I connected with, we ended up talking on the phone, and he's actually a very good friend to this day. And in that phone discussion, he was very open, very candid, and he revealed how much he was making from his blog. And this is a phone call. This is one of those memories in your life that you'll never forget, that I will never forget, because he revealed how much he was making. And I remember exactly where I was because I was driving in my car, and he shared that he was making between $30,000 to $40,000 from his blog. Now, for many people, like, that is a good annual wage. I mean, to make 40 grand a year, I mean, it's not a lot, but from something that is on the internet, like, I was blown away. But that wasn't how the story ended, because he wasn't making $30,000 to $40,000 a year from his blog. No. He was making $30,000 to $40,000 a month. $30,000 to $40,000 a month from a website.
Oh my God! Wow!
And I remember when he told me, and I heard those numbers because I was driving in my car and I almost ran off the road. I was blown away that you could make that much money from a blog. So at this time, I'm already writing and I'm publishing and I'm editing and I am still cranking out content. But after this phone conversation, that's when I started to do even more research on how to monetize a blog. So I started to familiarize myself with ads and AdSense and also affiliate marketing. I also then learned how sales funnels work and digital product. And that began an even more fun journey where I started to make some real money from my blog. And today what I wanted to share were what are my top takeaways? What were some of the big lessons that I learned that could also help you make your first $1,000 a month from your blog? So let's find out what these are right now. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, Wealth Hacker Labs. I'm your gracious host, Jeff Rose, and this is the channel dedicated to teaching you new ways to grow wealth that is not taught to you in schools or by your parents. So as a financial planner that is starting a blog to get new clients, and that was the only reason that I started the blog, to learn that I can start making money, and not just like a couple $100 on the side. No, to actually make thousands and thousands of dollars on the side. Like, this is something that I was very, very interested to understand. So the first big takeaway that I learned, and you also need to know, is that SEO matters. If you don't know what SEO is, feel free to Google it, but all it stands for is search engine optimization. If you're not familiar with what SEO is and how it works, just think about going to Google and typing something in the search engine. So for example, if you want to type in the cutest puppies ever, you might find something like this. Here's the cutest puppies.
Who's the cutest puppies?
And there are a lot of marketing experts right now that would argue that SEO doesn't matter in this day and age because of all the different social media platforms that exist. Because you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got Snapchat, TikTok, all the above. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Oh, that's right, YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and take care of that. And while you're there, go ahead and smash that like button.
Siri says I like.
But SEO does matter. And even though in the beginning, I didn't really understand how SEO works or even how to implement it effectively, I did know was that if somebody went to Google, typed in my name, Jeff Rose, I wanted to be found. Because before I started the blog, if you went to Google and typed in my name, Jeff Rose, you didn't find me. You found Jeff Rose, the superintendent, Jeff Rose, the golf shirt polo maker, and also Jeff Rose, the actor. And I know that I'm a pretty good actor, but that isn't me.
It all begins with you smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm.
What's going on, guys? It's Graham here. Be sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm.
Now, obviously, ranking for the cutest puppies ever wasn't going to get me any new clients. So what I wanted to rank for was my name, Jeff Rose. I finally achieved my goal of being discovered on Google, but then it hit me. If somebody was wanting to hire a financial advisor and they didn't know me, they're not gonna be typing in Jeff Rose. So that began a process of attempting to rank for that keyword, which I finally did. And even at the time of this recording, even though I am no longer a practicing advisor, even though I no longer reside in the state of Illinois, if you go to Google right now and type in Financial Planner Illinois, you will find me. You'll actually find me on more than one page. I think it's worth mentioning, especially if you are a new blogger and you don't think you have what it takes to rank for anything. I was in this forum with other personal finance bloggers and I was sharing how my goal was to rank for Financial Planner Illinois. Well, I was then contacted directly by this SEO expert. You noticed the air quotes, right? And this SEO expert was so kind to pass on his wisdom, letting me know that I would never rank for this keyword because it was just too competitive. Because of all the investment firms in the state of Illinois, especially up in Chicago, it was just too competitive. Did I mention that I love when somebody tells me that I can't do something? Like, come on and bring it. Bring them all on! As I previously shared, not only do I rank for that keyword, and I still rank for that keyword, but I was actually able to rank for that keyword in less than 90 days. Thank you, SEO expert.
Suck on it, Trebek. Suck it long and suck it hard.
After I was ranking for Financial Planner Illinois, I started to ask myself, what other keywords or phrases would potential clients go to Google to search for? So I started writing articles about 401k rollovers, how much to save for your kids' college education, how to invest for $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, and of course the obvious, why In-N-Out Burger is the greatest burger ever. Come on now, if you don't love In-N-Out Burger, then you might as well unsubscribe now because we can't be friends. Sorry. And that was my content strategy going forward, thinking about those keywords that prospective clients would search for, or I would go and answer questions that existing clients already have. So it was never an issue of running out of content ideas. The issue was not having enough time to write enough blog posts for all the content ideas that I had. So the second thing that I learned, and you'll learn too, and this one is a hard one to accept, but no one cares.
Don't care. Don't care.
Nobody cares that you started a blog.
Still don't care.
Nobody cares that you wrote a brand new blog post that took you 2 weeks to write.
What'd you say? I just want to know what you said. I don't care.
By the way, if it takes you 2 weeks to write a blog post, then you might think about doing something else. I shared this in a previous video where I make the case that starting a blog is better and more worthwhile than getting your MBA. But just because you build it doesn't mean that they will come. I remember getting so excited after I would get done hitting publish on this blog post that I put so much time and energy in because it was so clever and so well written, only to find out that nobody read it. Crickets. So I figured out to get people to care, to get people to take notice of what I was doing on my site, I had to start guest writing for other blogs. I was reaching out to these other personal finance bloggers that I had connected in these forums and online, and started writing articles, started writing blog posts for their audiences. And that's when I finally started to have new eyeballs, new readers coming to my blog and checking out what was going on. And that's when I started to rank for even more keywords, more search terms in Google. And then I started to get even more traffic. And when you have traffic, when you have new eyeballs, new readers coming to your site, that is when you can start making money. Now, in the beginning, once again, I didn't even know how to do SEO, so I definitely didn't know how to make money blogging. Now, the easiest thing to do for most new bloggers is adding Google Adsense to your site. If you're not familiar with Google Adsense, I promise you, you have seen Google ads anytime you do a search. So when you are searching for those cute, adorable puppies,
Who's the cutest puppies?
at the top of your search, you're going to see advertisements. Those are companies that are paying to be placed whenever you are typing something into Google. The reason that many new bloggers start off with Google AdSense because it's so easy. Once you sign up for your free account, you log in, you copy the code that Google provides, and you paste that into your website or blog. And based on the content of your site, Google will scan your site, see what you're writing about, what you're blogging about, and then they will assign the proper advertisers to be placed on your site. You don't even have to find the advertisers. Google will scan your website. They will scan the text to see what are you writing about? What are you blogging about? And then they will match up the advertisers that want to get in front of your audience. Now, the thing with Google AdSense, since it is so easy to use, don't expect to make a lot of money overnight. It's going to take time. It took several months where I was finally making $10 to $20, $40 a month. I finally was issued my first check, and it was a whopping $152.91. And while yes, that $152 was money in the bank, it definitely didn't break the bank. But over time, as I kept writing, kept publishing new content, that Google AdSense revenue started to grow. And it went from $152 on up to a couple $100, and then $500 and $1,000. Then eventually I was able to make almost $5,000 in 1 month. And after Google AdSense, I learned more about affiliate marketing, and I began promoting affiliates that I used, that I trusted, that I felt comfortable recommending to my audience. One of the first affiliates that I partnered with was with Scottrade. Now, Scottrade does not exist today, but at the time, they were one of the premier online investment firms. In the beginning, I wasn't comfortable recommending Scottrade just because I didn't have any experience with them. Yes, they had outstanding reviews and excellent customer service, but if I'm going to recommend something to somebody else, I want to have some experience with them. So the next logical step was to open an account with Scottrade to see with my own eyes how it worked. How was their customer service? What was it like to open an account with them and invest for the first time? And that's when it got fun, because I got a phone call from the closest Scottrade location. It was their branch manager, and I was explaining to them how I was actually a financial planner, but I had a financial planning blog and wanted to write about Scottrade, and I don't think they really understood what was going on, but I got to see firsthand what was it like to be a Scottrade client. And that was the same process that I did with other affiliates. I would open accounts with them to see what was it like. So I opened accounts with Lending Club, Trade King, Fundrise, Prosper. There were so many different companies that I experienced firsthand so that I could write from my personal experience what was it like. So when we added affiliates to the already existing Google AdSense revenue that was still bringing in money, we went from making that $5,000 a month to now we're making $10,000, $20,000. Started making that $40,000 a month that my friend was making on his site. It's important to mention one of the main reasons why my blog was making so much with Google Google Adsense. And why we were able to make that $10,000 to $20,000 and more with affiliate marketing is because of the niche that my site is in. Being in the personal finance space where we're talking about investing and savings accounts, you've got your Wall Street firms, you've got your big banks, and these companies are willing to pay a lot of money in advertising dollars. So does that mean that you have to write about money to make money blogging? And the answer is you don't. If you want to write about cute, stinking puppies, then you go ahead and do that. But just know, if you do that, you're not going to make as much money as another site in the personal finance or investing niche. The other big lesson that I learned, and this was a strategy that really helped catapult my blog into the crazy traffic numbers that I was getting. For a relatively new blog, I went from 0 views in a month to getting over 100,000 unique visitors to my site. And once again, I didn't know what I was doing SEO wise. So the fact that I was able to do that is pretty outstanding. And one of the main ways I did that, I've referred to as the crystal ball method.
Hold my hand, hold my hand, hold my hand. I see something now. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Now, I wish I could say that this was a strategy that I executed with concise precision, but the truth is I just got kind of lucky. Since I was a financial planner and in the financial services industry, going back in 2010, I knew that there was an event getting ready to happen that was going to be a big deal. See, prior to 2010, you couldn't execute what is called a Roth IRA conversion if you made too much money. But in 2010, the IRS was going to do away with this income restriction so that anybody and everybody, didn't matter how much you made, you could execute the Roth IRA conversion. And I had a suspicion because I had my secret crystal ball underneath my desk. No, I didn't. But I thought, you know what? This is something that people are going to want to know about come 2010. So I actually wrote the article talking about the Roth IRA conversion in the beginning of 2009. So by the time January of 2010 came along, when you went to Google and typed in Roth IRA conversion, you didn't find Fidelity, you didn't find Vanguard, you didn't find Investopedia at the top of the search engines. Oh no, you found Jeff Rose of Good Financial Sense. Can I get a holla or what? And I remember logging into my Google Analytics account and seeing all the traffic that was coming in. And guess what else came in? Bigger AdSense checks. The only way that you can really execute this strategy and do it well is that you have to be immersed in whatever niche or topic that you are blogging about. These opportunities don't come around a lot, but if you can take advantage and be one of the first to publish on this topic, then yes, you can even outrank some of the biggest competitors in your space. Other examples of the crystal ball method, especially in my space, in the investing space, is publishing any content that has to do with a big IPO that is coming up. For example, I remember writing about the Facebook IPO and the Twitter IPO. Any big IPO, if you can publish any information on that a few months before it actually happens, and then you go back and update that content as more news, more information comes out, then you also have a chance to take advantage of that crystal ball method. All right, the last big takeaway, and this may be hard for many of you, especially if you suffer from imposter syndrome.
You're not an imposter. You just have imposter syndrome. It happens all the time.
But whenever you are producing content, you have to think of yourself as the authority or as the expert. And I'm sure many of you are thinking that, yeah, Jeff, that's easy for you to say because you were a financial planner. So it was easy for you to be an expert in your space. And I get it. That makes complete sense. But you have to realize in the online space that being an expert doesn't mean that you went to school, that you got an MBA, that you have a certification in whatever you are writing about. Being an expert just means that you are 1 or 2 steps ahead of somebody else that is looking for information on whatever topic that you are blogging about. Now, another way to become an authority or the authority on your site is offering different types of media that people can download or consume your content. I mentioned earlier that whenever we added affiliates and started incorporating affiliate marketing into the site, how we saw our monthly revenues increase exponentially. What I didn't mention was one of the main reasons we were able to be so effective with that is that we just didn't offer blog content on different affiliates. So going back to that Scottrade example, yes, we had a blog post that talked about the pros and cons of investing and opening an account with Scottrade, but I also had YouTube videos where I showed behind the scenes what it looked like to open an account with Scottrade, how to invest with Scottrade, how my Scottrade portfolio performed over a period of time. Later on, we introduced the Good Financial Sense podcast where, guess what, I was talking about investing with Scottrade and the other affiliates that we offered on the site. Because here's the thing, Google really didn't care that I was a financial planner talking about Scottrade. What they did care about was offering different types of content, YouTube videos, which conveniently enough is also owned by Google. Because I know several personal finance bloggers that have sold their sites for millions of dollars, or those that still own their sites are making several $100,000 a month. And the only reason is because whatever topic that they are writing about, any topic that they are covering, they have become the expert, the authority, because they have wrote and addressed every single question, every single concern that somebody may have. And that really is the missing link of going from making a couple $1,000s a month to making a ton of money. But the cool thing is that you don't have to become the expert overnight. It can take time. And that's what I love about blogging. So at this point in time, you're probably wondering, Jeff, can I really do this? Is this a possibility? Let me tell you, it is if you have some patience, if you have some determination. And just to help you out, just to give you a jump start, I created this free email challenge called the Make 1K Challenge. And you can go to make1kchallenge.com. I'll have a link in the description that you can go check it out. With this challenge, we will show you step by step how to get your blog set up and publish your first blog post, and also how to make your first, you guessed it, $1,000. Once again, this is a free challenge. The link is in the description, or you can go to make1kchallenge.com. All right, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you at least have some interest, some excitement about blogging. I tell you what, it is something that has literally changed my life. It has rocked my world. I love it so much, and I hope you do too. And if you do like this video, go ahead and give that like and subscribe if you haven't. All right, y'all, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time.